Hello and thanks for checking in. My car has been shaking more and more lately, so I decided to dive in and replace a few things. In this video, I'm going to show you how to diagnose rattles, shakes, and all other kinds of unwelcome noises coming from your suspension. And while I'm under there, I figured might as well upgrade my bushings and swap the old rubber for something tougher and longer lasting, like polyurethane. So first, let's talk about what can cause suspension to produce weird sounds. We're talking about wheel bearings, control arms, tires and wheels, or brake rotors. In my case, I had the wheels balanced, so I knew they weren't an issue. And since I've replaced my rotors a few weeks ago, it's highly unlikely they would already be warped. That leaves me with wheel bearings, struts, or control arms. My CLK only shook when I was driving above 50 miles an hour and only when I ever so slightly touched the steering wheel. The fact that it would not shake in a straight line tells me it'll be a control arm issue. First, just to rule out a bad bearing, I'll spin the wheel and the jack to check for any resistance or grinding. Then I'll shake the wheel with both hands, first at 9 and 3, then 12 and 6. That knocking tells me there's something loose in my suspension, so I'll throw the camera under the car to see what's going on. That's a great solution if you don't have a helper. Now, the varying wear on the tire always signals a worn suspension component. Look at how different the tire is as I keep turning it. Now the camera's under the car along with a light source. I'm just going to move the wheel around to see what's going on, and you can already see that control arm is pretty loose. So I ordered a pair of new control arms, but the issue is they all come with brand new rubber bushings, so at first we're going to press those out. Since I don't have a pneumatic press, I'm going to use good old-fashioned force. Now, if you're planning on replacing the bushings, you'll definitely need some sort of a press. Since polys last forever, I don't plan on doing this again in the foreseeable future, so I didn't want to buy a Mercedes-specific tool. And I couldn't find any for rent, but I'll include an eBay link in the description. What I did end up using is this loaner you can pick up for free at Advanced Auto Parts. Not an ideal solution, I'll admit, but if you're in a pinch, it'll do the job just fine. Be advised though, you'll be charged the full price, but they'll refund it when you return the tool within 90 days. If you're not removing the whole arm, you can't really hammer out a bushing, but if you are like me, you'll basically only need one part from the box plus a road rage friendly hammer. Issue is, you see that yellow part? That metal ring has to come out and it won't fit properly even in the largest receiving tube. This is the part I used to hammer out that stubborn little thing. I only used the press for the arm I didn't pull off because the ring will get stuck even in the biggest receiver, so it's wildly inconvenient because you'll have to resort to some creative brute force to move on to the next one. Now let's look under the car and walk through our suspension components, because if you have to order a control arm, it could be tricky to figure out which one's which. Technically, both control arms are lower ones, but the front one, this one, is higher, and the one in the rear will be the lower one. We also have the tie rod ends, which I'll skip in this video, and then we have the sway bar or stabilizer bar end links. These guys have rubber bushings on both ends, so be sure to replace these links if you need to. Again, links in the description. Now, take a look at this rubber and you'll see why I wanted to replace those bushings. You can buy rubber ones as well, but they'll just age and tear and dry rot with time again, so I went with polyurethane replacements. They're a bit pricier and the ride is more on the sporty side than smooth, but I wouldn't take it any other way. Thankfully, my wife feels the same. I'll start the job by removing the sway bar link. You'll need a 7mm socket and an adjustable wrench to counterhold. I've been editing this video for quite a while. My own voice is getting on my nerves, so I'll sit out the rest of the video and give you the notes on screen. You have a great rest of your day. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out the links in the description. Also, if you feel like buying me a beer, you can do just that on my Patreon. Thank you for considering, and thanks for watching.